Welcome to this special edition of Fulton Today, the Fulton County COVID-19 update. The largest county government in the state of Georgia is executing its COVID-19 pandemic plan. That plan includes everything from identifying and collecting personal protective equipment, PPEs, providing more tests at its specimen collection sites, offering small business loans, and of course, assisting those nonprofit agencies with their efforts to support the homeless, the hungry, and of course, our seniors. Fulton County Manager Dick Anderson is leading the charge for Fulton County government. Sir, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
As the largest county government in the state of Georgia, you had to have a plan that you could execute well. So please tell everyone about Fulton's COVID-19 capacity plan.
So we thought one of the most critical things to do on the front end of this crisis was to identify the capacities that were needed in Fulton County. And those were beds, ICU beds, and ventilators specifically, because we all know that the infection rate is going to cause a number of our citizens to have to make use of a medical facility. And the question was, against those projections that were beginning to firm up, what capacities did we have? As we presented at our last Board of Commissioner meetings, we had a deficit in all three of those categories, and that was quite alarming to everyone. But I'm really pleased to say now, 2 months hence, we have not only closed those gaps, but we now have projections that show a cushion in each one of those, to the tune of about 700 in terms of number of beds that would be needed, about 100 in terms of number of ICU beds, and about 45 in terms of the number of ventilators. All of this is a result of the governor's quick action to both work with our hospital partners. Piedmont most notably is opening their new hospital early, and then the state is constructing an additional 200 beds at the Georgia World Congress Center. So those actions have put us in a position where we can say to the citizens at this point that our plan has cushion built in. And again, that's good news for all of us.
And the board and the leadership team knew that the community would need some sort of support during this time. Tell us what the county's been able to do.
So I think one of the most critical things that the board approved and pushed our staff to do was build a community support package. They allocated $10 million to that support package. And literally within the course of 2 weeks post the first board meeting in April, we have distributed over 66% of that funding. And we've done it through trusted partners, so many of which are common household names: North Fulton Community Charities, Hosea Feeds the Hungry, Buckhead Ministries, and they're across our county. And what that's allowed us to do is feed over 10,000 folks that otherwise might have gone without food just in the last 2 weeks. It also has put in place a unique, across Georgia, as far as I can determine, small business loan program. So we've already invested $1.5 million in small business loans. We're now matching that with the Development Authority of Fulton County with an additional $1.5 million. And those dollars are leveraged to actually generate $3 to $4 million in loan capacity. So if you can imagine that all coming to bear and all for the benefit of our small businesses who employ thousands of Fulton County citizens, we already have $2.2 million in loan applications, a couple of which have already closed. So that ability to act quickly while having a plan is essential. But what I call act and adjust, or getting out there and doing something in short order, was really essential, and our board allowed us to do that.
And sir, how has the county handled the massive government operations?
So one thing that we know is the duration of this event is uncertain. And so as we think about that, we've had to retool ourselves, and we've had to bring capabilities to our citizens that allow them to continue to both conduct business with the county or enjoy services. Now, much of that has been done online. I'm very proud of the number of capabilities that we have built over the last several years that now are being fully utilized. For example, if you want to renew your car tag, you can go to a number of Kroger locations and get that done. So I would encourage you to look for those locations because it's very simple to do and very convenient in terms of locations. If you want to update your homestead exemption, that can now be done online, and of course needs to be done in order to have the appropriate property taxes. Also, if you want to look at your property characteristics, that can be done online. In addition, though, to things of that nature, all sorts of things are being offered by our various departments, and I really want to commend them for being creative in bringing their programming online. I just looked at a number of senior offerings that were just offered this week, and they're multiple in nature, from exercise classes to educational opportunities. Of course, our library has always been a leader in digital services with a number of subscriptions that are digital in nature, but now they're doing story time online. Our arts programming has gone full scale into the online business. So all of those offerings just show the commitment, I think, of our folks to serving our citizens, albeit in a new way and with technology, but with the same spirit of community service.
And bottom line, Mr. Manager, where do we go from here?
You know, where we go from here is I think, a couple of things. One is we have to take care of our employees who serve our citizens. So we will be recommending a hazardous pay component for our first line responders, and I believe our board will approve that. In addition to that, though, we are buying personal protective equipment, and we're buying it at scale. So we've placed our first 2 orders. It's a fairly complicated process to find the right vendors, get the right deliverables, negotiate the price in this world. But nonetheless, that's been done, and we're taking those deliveries in the next week or so. So I'm very proud of our ability to do that to support our frontline workers. In addition to that, what we are doing is we're really looking for sustainable models in terms of testing. And you can hear that on a national basis, that testing is a prerequisite, really, to opening the economy back up. So we are working with our Board of Health and with the state on a sustainable model for that. Most people know that we've had a testing location now for several weeks at Fulton County Airport, and we test about 70 to 80 people a day. Some of that's targeted into our nursing home environments, and some is targeted for direct citizen access. In addition, CVS has been running a trial here in Georgia at Georgia Tech in Fulton County, doing about 1,000 tests a day. All of that is leading us to a point where a rapid test environment in multiple locations, supported by government and health officials, will be the norm. And I think that's critical for our path forward. And then lastly, we're beginning to think about, although I believe still it's a little bit premature, what would be the requirements to reopen the government in some shape or form. So certainly we'll be looking for national guidance and state guidance on that, both in terms of expectations and timing. But we're also beginning to think about what would we have to do differently, perhaps in a new environment post-COVID-19, at least in terms of the crisis stage of COVID-19, to serve our citizens and serve them safely, as well as keeping our employees safe. So all of those are on our plate, and all are being planned for now.
Dick Anderson, the Fulton County Manager. Sir, thanks again for your time.
Well, Shania, thank you again for having me, and thank you for the distribution of this information to our citizens and our employees. Again, while the answers sometimes feel like they're elusive or they've not been fully thought through, just rest assured each day presents a new set of challenges, and your government is here to serve you, and that's really our driving focus and the driving focus of our elected officials. And we have the resources to appropriately respond. So I'm very encouraged, again, that we will come out on the other side of this much better than we anticipated, but its duration and its severity is something none of us could have planned for, and probably none of us have ever experienced in our lifetime. So again, we're on the job, we're here to serve, and I believe we'll come out of this much better than we believe.
Now, to stay informed on all of the county's COVID-19 updates, please check out the special coronavirus page on the county's website. And when we come back, find out what Justice Partners are doing during this public health emergency. Welcome back to this special Fulton Today, the Fulton County COVID-19 update. Fulton's Justice Partners have taken a number of steps to modify their operations and to keep the public safe, and that plan includes one by the Fulton County District Attorney. The Honorable Paul L. Howard Jr. joins us now to share with us more about what he and his team has been doing during this time. Sir, welcome to Fulton Today.
Thanks for having me here.
And I understand your team was quick to respond to this pandemic. Talk to us about some of those early efforts.
One of the first things that we started to do is to critically look at our Fulton County jail population and assist our criminal justice partners in reducing the number of defendants in the Fulton County Jail. On the first day that the courthouse was closed down, we had approximately 2,878 inmates in the Fulton County Jail. Almost immediately, I sent a letter to the police chiefs of the county asking them to limit the number of people who are arrested and brought to the jail by providing citations rather than bringing nonviolent felony offenders to the Fulton County Jail. Of course, if the defendants were violent and indicated that they might cause harm to someone, I asked the policemen to continue with those arrests. Over the last couple of weeks, we have made recommendations that as many as 300 of those inmates be released, but that they should be fitted with ankle bracelets so that we could follow their every location.
And your team has been in the community helping during this public health emergency. Can you share with us details of that?
As many people realize, children who had been attending school received a free lunch. And because school is closed, many children in our community did not receive a meal. Well, many of the community prosecutors in my office, we have actually served meals to those children in the southeast area of the city of Atlanta. And what we're actually hoping to do is to increase our service so that rather than serving one school, that we could actually serve as many as 4 schools with lunches for their children.
And another initiative that you all have really focused in on deals with domestic violence.
As I've talked with police chiefs in our community, one of the things that they are telling me is that they've all experienced upticks in domestic violence. Well, in our office, there is a domestic violence reduction committee. And so right now, what we're doing is we're trying to get some specific statistics so we can find out whether or not that's really true. And if it is true, what are the areas that are being affected? Once we get that information, what we hope to do is to say to the victims and to the police departments what we can do to make sure that this trend does not continue. And we're hoping that we can publish that information within the next several days.
And sir, your final thoughts to the community.
Don't forget to stay inside, wear your mask, but most importantly, stay strong.
Good advice, sir. Paul L. Howard Jr., thank you so much again for joining us.
Well, thank you, Shania, for inviting me, and please ask me again.
And when we come back, an update on the elections, and we'll tell you how Fulton County is allocating that $10 million COVID-19 relief plan. Welcome back, everybody, to this special Fulton Today, Fulton's COVID-19 update, and we do indeed have an update on the elections. Fulton election officials are complying with the Secretary of State's announcement regarding the upcoming election. As it stands now, the election has been postponed until June 9th. Voters should have received an absentee ballot application from the state, and if you have not, you can contact the Secretary of State's office or contact the Fulton County Department of Registration and Elections. And by now you've heard about that $10 million COVID-19 relief funding package. So who exactly got the money and how is it being used? FGTV's Daryl Carver joins us now with more on this story. Daryl?
Shania, after that funding package was approved, Fulton County Commissioners sought to provide assistance to local nonprofits that could assist people at the community level. And they were assisting in 3 specific areas, those being homeless services, emergency assistance, and senior meal delivery. In the area of homeless services, Travelers Aid and Hope Atlanta will receive $350,000 for isolation beds for symptomatic individuals who are awaiting the results of COVID-19 tests and those who have tested positive for COVID-19 but do not require hospitalization. Other agencies are also receiving assistance for helping the homeless. Those include Mary Hall Freedom House, Nicholas House, Covenant House, Caring Works, City of Refuge, Solomon's Temple, Our House, and Drake House. In addition, $500,000 has been allocated for food delivery service for 75 families living in 9 identified hotels. There will also be significant funding for those assisting seniors and those with disabilities with emergency services. $150,000 apiece will be given to Fulton Atlanta Community Action Authority, South Fulton Senior Services, and North Fulton Senior Services, and $100,000 will be given to the Council on Aging. As far as senior meal delivery and making sure that seniors are getting their meals on time, the county has agreed to assist the following agencies: $225,000 for Piccadilly and Open Hand each, $150,000 for QLS, $250,000 for National Church Residencies, and $390,000 for Good R. Now, this was all part of an effort to make sure that these communities that are in a time of crisis have their needs met despite whatever circumstances we're currently encountering regarding COVID-19. Reporting from South Fulton, I'm Daryl Carver for FGTV.
Well, let's certainly hope that the money is helping. Thank you very much, Daryl. And still to come on Fulton Today, we'll tell you how Fulton's seniors are staying engaged, and we'll also share with you how you can help those on the front lines with an art project. Stay with us. Well, during this critical time of social distancing, you see, I'm taping the show from my home. Fulton is keeping its seniors engaged, and the arts and culture team, but they found a way that all of us can help those on the front lines. FGTV's Priscilla Baylog explains.
Shania, the Arts and Culture Department and Senior Services Departments are both working to keep residents active and engaged while maintaining social distancing guidelines during this COVID-19 crisis. The Department of Senior Services has converted their popular in-person classes like aerobics to free online classes via Zoom. The classes range in various categories from fitness, life enrichment, computer, art, and nutrition services. The online classes are offered at various times and days and are led by instructors who work at Fulton County Senior Centers. To get more information on how to participate in the classes, call the Star Line at 404-613-6000. And the Arts and Culture Department is providing arts and dance classes for various age groups, including kids. Those classes are offered during April and May and can be found at fultonarts.org. The Arts and Culture Department is also recruiting artists who have sewing skills to help keep government officials and healthcare system workers safe. Participants in the Focal Mask Project are sewing cotton cloth masks with fabric ties that fit an adult. The masks will be handed out to Fulton County employees like 911 dispatchers in order to help protect them from COVID-19.
Staff is working hard to identify artists to be a part of this, and they're excited. There are a number of people who are already doing this. So we're just trying to play our part in helping in this crisis the best in providing services. Even through virtual art experiences, we are providing them as well through our art centers.
Artists will get a stipend to help cover the cost of supplies. The project is open to registered Fulton County vendors, arts and culture instructors, contract for service recipients, or public art program registry artists. To learn more about this project, you can email accccinfo@fultoncountyga.gov. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Priscilla Baylog.
Thank you, Priscilla. Now, before we go, we want to remind you that we'd like to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And please check out this program again or any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel. But do us a favor and subscribe. Well, that does it for this very special edition of Fulton Today. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.